Solid argument, Jamie.
Thank you very much, Steb.
Come on down, hang out with us again. Bring those growlers. They have a great happy hour. Meet some of your neighbors doing some awesome things. They're always joining us, and we have two of them right here, Clementine and Lee. We got something to kind of talk about that Kevin brought this to our attention. And
what I love is when I brought it to everyone's attention, all the guys were like, "What?"
Well, yeah,
especially me.
That's the reaction,
and that's why I like it, because I don't think we should have that reaction.
Anyway, ladies, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
So you're part of an initiative that's, I would say, pretty important to women's health.
Absolutely.
There is a lot that goes into that. As a male, I have no idea most of the time. I have a daughter. She's 2 years old. So I have a ways to go in that. Kevin has an older daughter.
Yep.
So she's
around the corner.
Around the corner. We're going to have a party, in fact.
We are going to have a party. Steb's going to DJ. It's going to be the most epic party ever.
So tell us a little bit about what you do on Tuesdays, Tampon Tuesdays.
Okay, so we're from Carmel High School. I'm a student. I'm a senior, and this is Lee. She's my amazing staff advisor. And we started Tampon Tuesdays through our community service club at our school called This Club Saves Lives. And we brought this drive up at the beginning of the year, and we've been doing it all year, unlike a lot of drives that last a week, a month, and then they're over, because this conversation is really important to be continual and to keep coming.
Yes, absolutely.
So when you pitched this idea, was there a lot of support right out the gate, or was there some raised eyebrows and speculation?
I bet there was.
Will this be taken seriously?
Well, it's funny because now it's so different to say the word tampon than it was in September when we started it, because at first there was a lot of weird response, or just kind of confused, or what is this all about? But once people started getting more educated on the actual issue, people were more into it, and there wasn't 100% support from all the teachers, but a lot of staff were super awesome about it.
Was it difficult for you initially to get out the information so people would go from that, what's this, ha-ha, giggle, and so forth, to actually getting to that point where, you know, they understand the full kind of scope of what you're doing?
Yeah, so through social media, it's been really cool. Instead of just doing posters on the hallways, we've been doing social media posts every Tuesday with a new fact about this initiative and why it's so important and about the lack of access. So social media has been really awesome and helped us spread it, and people can repost.
So let's talk about that, lack of access. You bring that up. That's a huge issue there. So kind of give us the breadth of what that actually means.
So when we talk about donating toiletries and supplies for homeless shelters, we don't really think about tampons and pads, which is a big lack of access for homeless women, because it's a necessity and should be a right.
Right.
So it's really important to think about that. And then that lack of access is, I think, because of the stigma, and we're not really talking about it.
Right.
So that's kind of hand in hand with the issue.
Lee, how did you get involved here?
So I'm the advisor of the club. The club's been around for over 4 years, and every year we just, whatever students are interested in, whatever their passion is, we just kind of jump on with whatever they're doing. And so at the beginning of the year, we were having a brainstorming session. What are we going to do for this year? One thing led to another, and Clementine came up with this idea of collecting tampons, and that's how we got here. And we've learned a lot about this. And things I didn't even realize, like the tampon tax. $19 million of tax money in California comes from females buying feminine hygiene products.
Wow.
So there's a lot of
real
talk
revenue.
about it.
Wow.
That's
it's a lot
real
of money.
revenue.
And I'm genuinely learning a lot right now. I really am. Like, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know these things.
Yeah, and there's a lot of states actually that have been talking about getting rid of the tampon tax. Also, diapers is another one that's also taxed. So
can confirm.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
These are luxury items. You can't use food stamps to buy these items. They're considered luxuries.
Wait, they're luxury items?
Yeah, they're luxury
Yeah,
items.
considered luxury items.
These things that are necessities are it's
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yes.
So back to Clementine, how did the administration school take everything? Like how did this? How was it received? Is I guess the better question.
So I went to all the classrooms and asked teachers to put boxes in their classrooms, and I got yeses and I got some no's, but it was not bad. It was good to have that conversation, and hearing no isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just kind of proves how important this really is, a really important conversation to be having on our campus. One teacher was kind of hiding the box, so we just took it out and put it in another teacher who was willing. So.
Well, you mentioned earlier, it's like a squirmy concept and topic for a lot of people. They don't want to talk about it, especially when it comes to why there's a lack of, or what it actually means for women. Like, not only you're talking about health here, you're talking about
It's
the
a
absolute basic
right.
Basic
yeah.
right, yes. And I think what's great is that, like you just said, that whether they were uncomfortable, you're starting a conversation regardless. And that is going to lead you, it seems, to where you are now, which is a wonderful thing, and to be able to kind of push through that uncomfortableness and whatnot, and keep going with it. You've done a great thing to open up dialogue.
So now, how can people? What happens on Tuesdays? Do people bring them to donate?
So all through the week we encourage donations, but on Tuesdays we really press our message, press our initiative, post on social media, and on the school bulletin on Tuesdays, it's like another Tampon Tuesday fact. So we collect all week, but Tuesdays are like our main push the message day.
What I love is this is the epitome of grassroots.
Right.
Like, you see the need, you start getting active. I feel like an underachiever.
I always do, though, so that's nothing new for me. I'm just cool with it.
How does the public who doesn't go to Carmel High, how do they help participate?
Well, just by donating to local shelters. Just remember when you're like, hey, I'm going to donate these toiletries. But also I'm really hoping that in the next year, because I am graduating Carmel High, and I hope it keeps going on at Carmel, I do really hope that I can start this thing where community businesses in our local area can request a box at their businesses, at hair salons, yoga studios, and people could donate in our area.
Well, and we were talking right before we went on that this is important in times of crisis or emergencies and disasters.
Right.
People ask for donations, and this is one of the things that emergency outreach groups have a problem collecting because people don't think about it. And so this is something that when we have a national disaster, these are the things that you can donate to have a huge impact.
And they get overlooked constantly, like
Yeah.
you said. Yeah.
And they're expensive. You don't realize how expensive they're. Recently, people will be like, "Oh, I just bought some, and it was like $15," and bought us a box as well. And so, we do encourage people to just donate locally. Plus, we have a website and we have social media. This Club Saves Lives on Instagram, and then we have an Amazon wish list if people want to contribute on our wish list or seek out our website and donate there directly to us. But every community needs them.
What's the website?
It's thisclubsaveslives.org.
All right. It's easy to remember. Clementine, what's the plan now? Are you going to be done with Carmel High? What's next?
We'll see what's next.
Rule the world.
Yeah, looking at different things. But I'm going to be going to MPC, and I want to start Tampon Tuesday there, and I also want to keep it going in this community.
Oh, that's good. Staying in the area, but also
Businesses, yeah.
keeping that going, and that's going to be something you can stay tuned in. I'm sure you have friends that are not quite ready to graduate yet,
Yeah.
that you can go ahead and kind of instill that sense of, hey, this is your responsibility now. I'm handing it off to you.
Yes, and
That's
wherever
great.
I end up, even after MPC, I will always be the tampon queen, just reminding people to donate.
And I see your dad hovering. Dad, you have to be pretty proud. There's a delay, so he's going to hear that.
Yeah, thumbs up. We got
Thumbs
a
up from Dad.
I think it's great that you started this in high school too. That's not a lot of high school kids or young adults, if you will, around your age are thinking about these things. So, kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
So, are you taking just tampons, or are you taking all feminine products?
So, yeah, we take tampons and pads, also menstrual cups as well. Is an interesting subject that we haven't really approached yet, but that is something that is more sustainable. But it is kind of a weird conversation to have in high
Convenience
school.
issues.
One
Yes,
step at
there's
a
a
time.
lot
well
that goes with
versed in
that.
this before this
Yeah.
this show.
It's good. Yeah.
You have
you're
10
gonna be
years
ready.
to prepare for this, and
I'm
I'm going to be your mentor. It's the weirdest mentorship ever.
Are you going to dress like Gandalf and then run around?
There's
Help me.
so many things I could say, but I'm not.
I just have one more question for you guys. Was it more difficult, which I guess I kind of would assume, to get the men to get on board and understand this?
Yeah.
I think it was more important to get them.
Definitely,
Yes, exactly.
definitely. That's
Exactly.
ding, ding, yeah,
Just-
ding, ding, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys just said, you learned a lot. Just from
It's true. That's
the
why I'm
price,
thinking about it.
The
Yeah.
luxury tax. So just like educating the men has been cool, and even women, because not everyone knows about that.
Well, what you're doing is removing the stigma.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of my guy friends won't go to the store and buy them because they're like, dude, it's embarrassing. I'm like, yo, the cashier doesn't think it's for you.
Last time I went,
Right.
Trust me.
You realize that half of the world is
Yeah.
just women.
It is a
and that it's
necessity. Like, get over it.
Yeah, get
So
over
I think what you're doing just to remove that taboo stigma
Yes.
with it is awesome.
Yep.
And then you take every
I
other.
do have to give the story of my last trip was
Oh.
not knowing what was what.
Have you
And
ever
That's
and then,
definitely
you know,
a part.
I've asked, and I was like, I got there and I had forgotten from the previous trip.
Of course you did.
Dude, put
Tried
that
to
in
make
your
a phone call, and I was like, you know what? I can't get a hold of her. I'm just gonna grab all of them.
Such a man
So
thing to do.
I grabbed like 6 different Macs. It was just like this in the CVS. Like, all right, we're doing this.
Just
I don't
walking
know.
around asking random women, "Is this work? Please help me."
See, now
Best
that's
part-
where the cashier's like.
That's
yeah.
exactly what happened. The cashier was like, "You have no idea what you're doing here, do you?"
No, I don't.
Nope. I'm sorry, Lee. You were about to say.
No, I was going to say when this idea first came up, what was really cool is in our club meeting on Tuesdays, we were talking about it, and Clementine was just talking to some students, and there were freshman boys in this group, and the freshman boys said to her, "All right, I'm telling my mom, like, we're going to the store tonight, and we're going to go buy some."
Oh,
That
that's
is
And
so
that
great.
was so
awesome, though.
cool.
I was expecting you to
So
say
cool.
something totally different.
No,
So
right?
great.
Which is funny that happened because the teachers who weren't really sure about putting them in the room kept saying, we have freshman boys in our class. And then I have these freshman boys being like, I'm going to tell my mom to buy tampons. And it was just kind of,
That's great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
You're
that's
like,
cool. Yeah.
That's
Well,
great.
one more time with the website. It's this.
thisclubsaveslives.org.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
Dad.
Thank you, ladies. Wonderful.
We'll be back here with a little more pub talk for you on the locals radio station for the Monterey Bay.
Caramel.
KRML.
Dude.